Hello everyone, my name is Bradley Kisner and welcome back to my channel. Sorry for such the delay between my last video and this one. I've actually been finishing up college and I just graduated. I got my degree, I'm out, and I've actually landed my first full-time job, so that's very exciting. And that's pretty much what I've been up to, just trying to finish up. Now that I have more free time on my hands, and I'm actually at the beach right now, I figured a perfect fragrance to review next for you guys would be one that I saw asked about in my comments for my last video for Luna, which is Ozone by Aaron. I do plan on doing more fragrance reviews in the future from different houses, but I really love Aaron's work and you guys really seem to want to see more Ozone. In my next video, I plan on showing off my collection to you guys so you can kind of get an idea for what fragrances I own and what you guys would want to see from me next. But as of right now, I just figured I'd take advantage of the natural lighting here at the beach, which has been very fun, very relaxing and therapeutic after this tough college semester. So let's begin. So Ozone, as you can see right here, I do not have the box for it right now, but as you can see, this is one of his old bottles. So Ozone was the first fragrance that that I got from Aaron when I discovered his brand. As I mentioned in my previous video, I discovered Aaron from Chris's channel, Fragmental, who I've been a fan of for quite a while, and he really put me on to Aaron's stuff. And so this was about, I want to say, a year and a half ago to maybe 2 years at this time. It's been a while. I want to say it was a little over a year ago though. And back then Aaron had packaging that looked like this. The boxes were similar to this as well, similar to your new packaging design from Aaron. So instead of the black cylindrical box with the unicorn on top, we had a wider white cylindrical box with this label here on it, as well as an ATH embroidered on the top of that box. People really kind of trashed on this presentation when I got this bottle and just, you know, in general back then. That's why Aaron kind of revamped his presentation. I don't really have too much of a problem with this. I kind of like the simplistic design. Yeah, it's a little bit more on the basic side, and I do like his newer packaging better, but I really do like this. But you guys are here for the smell, not for the packaging. You're here for the juice that's inside. So let me just give a quick note breakdown for you guys real quick. So in Ozone, off the top, as listed on Aaron's website, you can find this in his website, and I will link that down below. Actually, this weekend, at the time of my video going out, I believe Aaron is releasing a new fragrance. I think it's called Haze, and I believe it comes in 2 bottles, Haze Blue, Haze Black, and he's also doing a 20% off sale on the whole store, and I know that I'm going to be getting myself quite a few fragrances from there. But you can find all this information on his site. So trying through the notes with you, top notes are an Ozone, Accord, and Lime. So Aaron describes his Ozone Accord as this sort of airy, salty, kind of fresh air Accord, if you will. And I believe he created this Accord entirely by himself, in-house. And of course Lime. Lime gives this nice little citrus pop to the top, and actually kind of helps give this fragrance later on sort of a summer cocktail vibe, which I really like, and I'll explain how that works while I go through the rest of the notes with you here. So in the mid, we have coconut, mocha Accord, and spearmint. So of course coconut gives you that really sweet tropical feel. So it's not sickeningly sweet, it's not like a dessert, but it really feels like you were at a beach resort drinking a summer cocktail, especially with the lime there. So that lime and coconut really play well off each other, especially on my skin. The mocha Accord gives this kind of light, smooth chocolatiness to it, just adds a little bit more of that sweetness to the fragrance in the middle while it's drying down. And the spearmint gives like this really good burst of freshness from me on my skin. This fragrance is very fresh, very happy in my opinion. And then in the base we have ethical ambergris, which, correction, last video I made a comment on ethical ambergris that was wrong. I just kind of described what I knew it as, but thanks to Mick M, I actually have his name written down here. Thank you, Mick. Ethical ambergris basically means that this ambergris was verified as real, and that it has been found, you know, on a beach somewhere. So, you know, entirely ethical use there, and it can kind of give off this sort of ambery kind of animal-y note, at least on my skin. And then we have a clean skin accord, driftwood, and patchouli. To be honest, I don't really pick too much of the driftwood off of my skin. I get a little bit of patchouli, a little bit of that kind of earthiness in the base when it dries down on my skin, but as far as base notes go, what I get the most is the clean skin accord on my skin after everything's dried and everything's said and done. So as far as the fragrance goes, I have a spray already right here on my skin. I've had this here for about, I want to say the past 2 hours or so. I've had this bottle for a while. I've had it for about a year and a half, so I do know how the dry down goes. Typically, you probably won't be hitting the dry down until, especially with this, I would say, you know, a couple hours in. I've only had this on my skin for a little bit less than that, so it's probably in the mid right now. But to compare and contrast, I'm going to spray right here on my arm a fresh spray of Ozone, and so we can get a good top note impression, and so I could kind of run it through with you guys right here. All right, here we go. You know, this has got to be my second favorite from his house. Even though it was the first fragrance I got from him, this is by far my favorite. This is my go-to summer scent, my summer signature, if you will. I love this so much. Typically, I don't gravitate towards blue fragrances or even your more masculine fragrances that are good for the summer, such as like a Ventus or so on and so forth. But I love this. I love summer gourmands, if you will, and I wouldn't really call Ozone a gourmand, but it really just gives off that summer cocktail vibe for me. You know, it reminds me of my days at a hotel I used to work at, bartending at the pool, right? Like it brings back so many good memories for me. It makes me happy, and I believe Aaron actually describes this fragrance as happy himself. But if I smell the top here, basically what you're going to get is that burst of lime, right? I don't get too much of that Ozone accord. I kind of get what he's saying. There's like a freshness kind of in the back, while the lime kind of just shoots up from the top really sharply, but it's not too sharp. It's not too abrasive, if you will. But even now, as it's kind of drying into the mid a little bit, just off the top, I'm starting to get that coconut, and that combination between the sweetness of the coconut and lime really gives me that cocktail feel, and I absolutely love it. I love the idea of just kicking back in the summer on a beach with my favorite drink in my hand. That's typically what I like to do to rest, and that's definitely what I've been doing this week. Now, for the dry down, or at least mid dry down, I would say, I'm definitely getting that clean skin accord. Really, a lot of that clean skin accord is definitely very fresh, very clean. You got that kind of white musk that Aaron likes to use a lot in a lot of his fragrances. And the clean skin accord comes out pretty strongly here, but not too strongly. I don't get too much lime anymore, but I do get some of that sweetness from the coconut and what I would imagine is that mocha accord here. So the notes that come out of my skin the most from this fragrance, and of course this will differ depending on whether it be you know, your gender or just really your skin chemistry in general. The notes that come out on my skin the most are definitely the lime, definitely the coconut, the spearmint, and the clean skin accord. Definitely those are the notes that pull the most on me. So while this smells like a nice, fresh, refreshing, happy summertime cocktail, to me, to you, you might get a little bit more of that ozone accord. Maybe that freshness, that fresh air. Maybe a little bit of that mocha accord. Maybe get a little bit of chocolatiness on your skin. At the end of the day, of course, you know, this is the world of fragrance. Fragrances will smell different on person to person, typically, especially with Erin's work. As I said with Luna, Luna smells completely different on my girlfriend than it does on me. And I think that's something that really gravitates me towards Erin's work, that, you know, even though I might have the same fragrance as one of my friends who I put on to Erin, we can still smell different from each other by wearing the same one. It's very interesting to me. Now, I haven't really tested this on anybody else yet. I'm definitely planning on it this week. My girlfriend's on the trip with me, and I know she's been waiting to try this. So I may give you guys an update in the future on this one. And that is it for my review. I typically don't score here. If you'd like me to give scores, I would love to kind of set up a score system for you guys. I'm not as knowledgeable as Erin is in terms of you know, the safety and paperwork and all that stuff that goes into fragrance production. So I can't really factor that into my score. So typically I'll just give my opinions, my thoughts, share them with you on what he's created and what other perfumers have created. Of course, as you know, I'm new to this, and thank you, by the way, to all of the advice and all of the kind words that you guys gave me in my last video. It definitely made my day and made my week, especially when I was struggling through those final weeks of college trying to get that degree. I really appreciate that from you guys. As far as the future is concerned, of course, I mentioned that once I get home, I am starting that job, but I am also planning on covering my collection and also putting out videos more regularly. I can review more fragrances for you in the future. That's definitely a plan of mine. And just really anything that you guys could recommend. I would love to not only hear your feedback on my content and what I can do better, but also things that you'd like to see from me in the future. I want this to be very interactable, very personal, as much as I can make it. You know, I love just kind of having a mini audience now just for my first video. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. As far as Unicorn Weekend goes, you know, this channel is not an Air Terence Hughes plug, but just because I'm such a huge fan, I do suggest checking out Unicorn Weekend on his site. I'm gonna link it down below. He's a great guy from the small conversations that I've had with him. And I believe, like I said, there's a new fragrance, or technically 2 new fragrances releasing this weekend on Erin's store. Haze and Haze Blue, I think it's what they're called. One's a extrait de parfum, one's an eau de parfum. Not entirely sure the difference, but I know they're definitely a summer fragrance. And then everything else on his site, including the new one, I think, will be 20% off or something like that. So I think that's pretty sweet. I already own most of his collection, but I know I'm going to try to get Haze. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the future with this channel. I'm very much looking forward to sharing my passion for this with you guys. And who knows where this channel will take us in the future, but I'm really excited for it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great rest of your month, however long it is until I put out the next one, but I do plan on it being very soon, sooner than the last one. But anyway, thank you guys so much. Please drop a like, drop a comment, interact. I will try my hardest to interact back with you with my schedule switching up. But anywho, thank you so much.